Anxiety disorders are the most common mental health challenge in the U.S., affecting everyone from adults to children.
A lot of times people don't want to talk about their struggles, but now there is a push to change that with the help of a boy from Metro Detroit. He's one of many kids sharing their stories.
7 Action News reporter Anu Prakash takes a closer look at it and talked to an expert who offered some advice.
Life seems to go at a speed we just can't keep up with sometimes, and all that stress can turn to anxiety, and it's disrupting the lives of millions of Americans. A new documentary, Angst, Raising Awareness Around Anxiety, hopes to get people more comfortable talking about it so they can get help.
It can be overwhelming.
The deadliest mass shooting in modern American history.
Feeling like what's happening in the world is just too much to take.
More than 25 people killed.
Mass shootings.
The catastrophic damage in Puerto Rico.
Natural disasters and the stresses of life, leaving some people full of fear and uncertainty. It can all contribute to something more Americans are dealing with, anxiety disorders.
I'm 20 years into the journey of this, but I can still vividly remember how afraid I was to tell anybody.
For this Metro Detroit wife, mother, and writer, it's a feeling she knows all too well.
My heartbeat feels like it's in my whole body. It feels like my whole body is sort of pounding.
Denise says her journey with anxiety came after she was diagnosed with depression 2 decades ago.
I think I've always had it to some degree, but I didn't realize that what I was feeling wasn't quote-unquote normal.
She was very private about it at first, but eventually shared her struggles with a dear friend.
And it was so powerful because she said, "Oh my gosh, me too." And that, to me, those are two of the most beautiful words when you're going through a struggle.
And it's not just adults struggling with anxiety. Many kids are overwhelmed by it too, sometimes with paralyzing fears. Denise recognized the anxiety in her own son, Charlie, when he was in the 1st grade.
I was so sad for him that was something that he was going through.
Charlie is now in the 5th grade and recently opened up about dealing with anxiety in the new documentary called Angst.
I think I was 4 or 5 when I had my first anxiety, and I still have this piece of anxiety now. Like if we're going on an airplane and then we lose our ticket for a second, I'll get anxiety, oh no, we're not going to be able to make it, no, we can't do this and that.
The film explores the disorder, its causes and effects, and how to deal with it. Kids between 8 to 18 spoke candidly about their experiences.
I kind of start to breathe really rapidly, and I can't slow my breathing.
But it has been on the rise, especially in the past 8 to 10 years. There's a real increase in reported diagnosable anxiety disorders among children and adolescents.
Dr. Michael Young is a clinical psychologist. He says it's important to understand we all have anxiety, but
really anxiety, when it's at a diagnosable level, it's when it's interfering with your life. I think too often there's a misperception that you're supposed to keep someone totally safe and not at all anxious, but that's not realistic in life.
Dr. Young says there's no cookie-cutter approach, but some tools that can help include practicing slowing down your breathing.
For 4 seconds, you're breathing in through your nose, and then you hold it for 7, and then you exhale through your mouth.
He says exercise, doing something that brings you joy, can help too. Also, keep track of how you're feeling each day. If you see a trend, that may be a signal to seek professional help. For people with diagnosable anxiety, he says a combination of cognitive behavioral therapy and medication could be the most effective.
Talking about it is probably the biggest thing, but exercise is the thing that sustains me.
Denise says yoga has transformed her ability to deal with anxiety and depression. And as for Charlie, he loves to swim, and that's been one tool that's helped him. Denise says he's doing great, and simply sharing his story showed him something too.
And that's one of the biggest things that Charlie has said. Not just being told that I'm not the only one, I can see that I'm not the only one.
There is a free screening of the documentary Angst coming up on December 7th at Derby Middle School in Birmingham. For more information, just head to our website, wxyz.com. I'm Anu Prakash, 7 Action News.
Wow, those kids are brave talking about it, but that woman, too, sharing her problems with other people helps.
Well, I think it's just important people know they're not alone and that talk about it. People will understand.
Yeah, get a little exercise in, get rid of some of that angst and some of that anxiety, you know.
Sometimes